How did you get that in there?
That's the exact question I want everybody to ask. How did you get this nail in this piece of wood? There's no holes. It's not cut. It's not glued anywhere. How did you get that nail inside there? All right, the first thing you're gonna have to do is have a 2x4, pine 2x4, because you need a soft piece of wood. And cut it to 7 inches, which I have already. Now, 7 inches comes into play because you're gonna be cutting those gaps, which are 1 inch apart. And I've already marked that too. So we've already set up our table saw to do this. You don't have to use a table saw. You can use a miter box. You can use a regular saw. Somebody was busting me out last week. Oh, I gotta buy $7,000 worth of stuff to make this work. No, you can buy something cheap. A regular saw will work too. I just happen to have this, so I'm gonna work smarter, not harder, all right? I keep telling that to you, by the way, too. Work smarter, not harder. No one listens to me. All right, so why is this unplugged?
For safety.
Right, he actually learned. When I was setting it up, I unplugged it for very good reason. Now I have one cut here. Now all I have to do is just make a whole bunch of cuts, and that will give me my spot there. I have my... So we got our 3 gaps here. So now you can see there's just some ridges in there where the saw made the cuts. You can smooth those out with one of these little sanders. It fits right in the spot, right through the center. It does fit. Here, there, see? Just need some work on that one. All right, so now we're at the point where we want to place this in here. Except we're not gonna be able to do it for 2 more days. There's a reason why. How do we get it in there? How did that happen? We're not gonna remove this. We're not gonna remove, actually, there's no cuts at all. How do we get this nail in here? We have to leave this room and go into somewhere that's more familiar to Tingle. And welcome to Taste of Tingle. I am not Tingle, I am Sherman. We're not cooking anything except for this. This is how we're going to place that nail in there with this and water. All right, now that the water is boiling, we're gonna place our piece in here like so. We're gonna let that boil about 10-15 minutes. So it's been boiling now for just about 15 minutes. So we're gonna take that out, wearing gloves, because the wood is hot, even in the parts that are not wet. So now we're gonna go back out to the garage. Now we bring it to a vise. And what we're gonna do here, we got 2 pieces of wood on each side so then it doesn't damage our piece of wood. And we're gonna start cranking away, like so. See how it's squishing down? Now it's not breaking because of the hot water in the wood, nor is it cracking. So we're gonna let that crunch all the way down about to right there. See how it's like that? Now, it's gonna stay that way for 2 days. So we're gonna come back in 2 days because what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this dry out, because if we just took the wood out right now, it would come right back to the same shape. So as soon as it dries off in 2 days, when we take that out, it's gonna stay in that position. All right, it's been 2 days, so this thing is all dried out, so let's release it. And look at that. Look at that, it's down. It's gonna stay that way too until we make it go back. So what we're gonna do now is use a very long drill and drill through this one and this one right here. So let's do that. There you go. Got a hole. All right, so we got our nail and our hole, so we're gonna put the nail right in the hole. And I got a little nail here just to hold this other nail, just kind of shim it, because if I turn it that way, the nail will fall out. So back into the kitchen. We're gonna do the same process to make this squish down and make it go right back. So we're gonna boil it again. Then, when we're done with this, we're gonna have to wait 2 more days again. Like I said, this is a 4-day trick. Boil it up, way up. So that's only been boiling for maybe 45 seconds, and it's almost all the way back to where it was originally. Look at that, popped right back. Now it is off just a little bit on this edge, and we're gonna fix that. We're gonna go back to the garage, back to the vise. It's all soaking wet, so it will form the same way it did before. Clamp it in to straighten out that top piece. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm gonna tell you why, because when this is done drying, in 2 days, that's when we're gonna sand it. But we have to wait 2 days. We can't sand it while it's wet. It'll scuff it all up and won't work. All right, it's 2 days later. This is all dried out. We're gonna take it out and you can see, look at that. Now it's perfectly straight. It's a little wavy in some spots. That's why I need to sand it down. So you don't wanna give any clue of how you did the trick. So let's sand it. And there you go, it's all sanded, and look at that. No one will know how the nail got trapped in that piece of wood. So there's something you can do. It's gonna take you 4 days to do it, but that is how you get a nail locked in a piece of wood. And I do have one more trick though. I'll show you how to lock this nail in the beer. The other trick was better.